Do you need workman's compensation insurance? It's a question I've been recently asked, and I want to explain it a little further for you. I'm Ron Ramsden. I'm a DYB coach, also painting contractor here in Massachusetts. Workman's compensation insurance. Basically, if someone gets hurt, are they covered? You could lose your business if you're not properly protected. I've been in business now for 18 years, have had 2 almost claims. Thank God everybody was okay. But I was so happy. That's a lottery that I do not want to win. I do not want to have to pay out on workman's compensation, and I hope none of my employees have to claim it. So anyways, let's answer a few questions out there. What is workman's compensation? Who's eligible? Who has to pay it? Do you have to pay it? And we'll go through a few brief things here. If you work by yourself and you're working on homeowners' homes, you do not need workers' compensation. But you got to understand, if anything gets hurt, you're probably going to have to make a claim if you don't have the funds to pay it yourself against someone else's insurance. And the homeowner must know that you do not have workman's compensation insurance. That would be a surprise that they would end up with if you made a claim against them. So having workman's compensation is a cost. It is a part of doing business, but it's something that you might want to look into. If you have one employee, you must have workman's compensation for that employee. So that is a law. Number 2, if you hire subcontractors, they must have workman's compensation. If they don't have workman's compensation, they're going to fall under your workman's compensation for them. And imagine this: if you have employees and you have subcontractors, you're controlling the safety of your employees. But sometimes you cannot be on the site when that subcontractor is working. If that subcontractor gets hurt and they don't have workman's compensation, which they're supposed to have, even if it's in your agreement with them and they haven't paid it and you're not notified, it all is going to fall on you. Also, independent contractors, they're supposed to carry their own. There's a must that they carry their own workman's compensation. So those are the 3 things that you're going to have. And I know in my experience working for a general contractor, every year they require us to prove that we have workman's compensation. Also, they get notified if we don't pay our workman's compensation, so they can be ahead of the curve on that and make sure that we are fully insured, because if not, it will fall on them during their yearly audit. There's a couple workman's compensation payment plans. A lot of them that people are familiar with is that you pay a chunk in the beginning of the year, you get audited sometime during that year, and then they usually requiring you to pay additional funds at the end. Another way to go is called pay-as-you-go. So they basically look at what you've paid last week. They'll look at your payroll, and then this week they'll take out the funds for the workman's compensation for that. That's a much more budget friendly, so you don't have to come up with a large chunk of money. I believe the rule is that you have to be in business for a couple years first before that can actually be looked into. So anyways, pay as you go, it's great. And you also have, I believe, a certified payroll company working with you in your payroll. So the 3 reasons, people who aren't covered, if you're a sole business owner like myself, I'm not in the field with the guys, I'm not covered under the workman's compensation, nor is my payroll taxed for workman's compensation. Volunteers, if you're volunteering at someplace and you're not covered by their workman's compensation. So just be aware of that. There might be some other kind of insurance that is covering you, but you're not on the workman's compensation. And then federal employees. Federal employees don't get workman's compensation. There must be. I'm not a federal employee. I don't know much about federal employees, but I did a little research, and federal employees aren't covered under traditional workman's compensation. So how is workman's comp determined? Workman's comp determined is by job classification. Obviously, if you're an exterior painter working on 2nd and 3rd floor buildings, your workman's comp is going to be higher. If you're an interior painter or interior wallpaper, your workman's compensation should be lower. Also, if you have claims, if you've had a claim against you in your workman's compensation, that will elevate your percentage they take out. So basically, it's a percentage per every $100 paid. I am roughly about 6% right now per 100. So depending on your payroll, if I have a $10,000 payroll, I have a $600 a week workman's compensation bill. So the burden, if someone gets hurt, if someone claims they've gotten hurt on a job, and you heard of all these stories in the past that someone came to work and then they said they fell, and we're not pointing fingers at anybody. Or tragically, I had a person who was taking a shutter off a house while they were power washing it, and while he pulled the shutter off, he got attacked by bees, which caused him to fall and he broke his wrist. So it can happen anytime. It happens. It's never expected when someone's going to get hurt. And I also heard of a friend of mine had someone who actually passed away on the job. He was painting a soffit he was on top of a roof, small porch roof, backing up as he was painting it. Been painting his whole life, and he actually just fell off the roof. It was about 10-12 feet up, bumped his head, and unfortunately he passed. How tragic that was. Workman's compensation was there, but there was some insurance in place. So it's a lottery we don't want to win, but it's a lottery it's something that we have to have. So anyway, this is a little brief thing on workman's compensation. I hope that helped. If you need any help on anything else, you can reach me at ron@dybcoach.com. You can also send me a Facebook message. You can check us out at joindyb.com. That'd be pretty cool. You can see everything that we have to offer. Videos, we have videos on almost everything out there, and I'd really like to, if you have a video idea, please share it with me. Anyways, I'm helping painting contractors stay out of the bucket, grow their business, and have a great time doing it. Have a great one. Bye.